Hello. So we will start with our series of lectures regarding Java object-oriented programming and data structures. We will also give some introduction about secure coding in Java. So the first chapter is about Java arrays. For the textbook, you can find it on Kindle Hunter Publisher with the link provided here. So in this first chapter regarding Java arrays, we will talk about the following topics: how to create an array, how to index an array, and how to perform some operations with the elements of an array, and how to write methods with arrays as parameters, and how to process strings with arrays, and how to deal with a two-dimensional array. And the first topic is about to create an array. What is an array? In programming language, we all know that to store a single value, you use a single variable, okay? But if you want to store a number of items and all of them are the same type in Java, and one of the approach is to use array. So an array is kind of like a list, okay? And an array has a number of slots, and each slot it can store one value, or we call it one element in array. And the feature of an array in Java is its length. So the number of slot, okay, is fixed, okay. And also there is another requirement in Java for array is all of the types of the elements. So each of the element in the array, they must be of the same type. Okay. And to create an array in Java, the syntax is you have the type. Type can be like primitive type or some object type, like integer, like a string, okay. And then you have the pair of square brackets, and then you give the name of the array, okay. And then you do need to use the keyword new, okay? And follow that is a data type of the array. And also you need to provide the length of the array, okay? So with this one single statement, you create an array, okay? And you can also do split the array declaration and creation in two statements. So you first declare the name of the array. So you specify the type of the array with the pair of square brackets and the array name, okay? And the second statement, you do the new statement, okay? And with new and the data type of the array and the length of the array. So this is a general idea about how to create an array, okay? So next, let's take a look at example to get a better understanding of how to create an array. Okay, so in our textbook, how to create an array and do some operation and access the array is provided in the example Java array EX1. Okay, in this example, we provided the coding examples about how to create an array. So here, let's take a look. So for this example, what we did is in the main function, the main method. So what we did is we create an array called array A. Okay, so this is the name. So you need to give the type. So this is the data type primitive integer. Okay, and the pair of square brackets, and then followed by the keyword new and the data type. So these two must be consistent with each other and the length. So here we are going to create a 10 element array. Okay, so the array will have 10 empty slots. And at this point, we just create an array. We haven't assigned value to each of the empty slots. Okay, so we can test what's going to be the default values in this array. Okay, so we print out, so we output of the array elements. So, and what next we did is we try to access each of the element of the array. Okay, so let's go back to see the second section, how to access array. Okay, to access each individual of an array, we call it indexing an array. To access an element of array or indexing an array, what you do is you use the square brackets and provide an integer number, and we call it index. Okay, and then you can access the individual element of the array, and you can specify with a specific one. Okay, and in Java, there is also a feature that you can access the length of the array using the dot following the name of the array, dot length, and this will give you the length of the array. So the number of elements in the array. Okay, so next let's continue to take a look at that example, okay, regarding creating an array and indexing an array. Okay, so we just discussed how to create an array. Okay, this is using a single statement. So declare and create an array. Okay. And to access each individual element, as previously we explained, so you use the square brackets with the index number. And for array, the index start with 0. So that's the first element. Index. Okay. And the second one is 1. Okay. And all the way to its length. minus 1. Okay, be careful, it should be length minus 1 because start at 0. Okay, so to access each individual one, you just provide the index number, okay, the integer number between 0 to length minus 1. And then it will give you the contents of the element regarding that array. So here, then we output the first one, second one, third one, the sixth one, and the 10th one, because this array we created with 10 elements, okay? But we haven't assigned because of these are the default values. Okay, so here we also showed to get access the length of the array, you can use the dot length feature. Okay, then it will give you the number of the elements. And next, because we understand how to index an array, okay, and basically then you can also assign value, okay, to each of the element of the array. So before we learn array for individual variable, what you can do is like you do, in this case is integer like x1, okay, equals 11. So this is x1 is a variable, okay, and the type is primitive integer, okay, and the value is 11, integer 11 you assign to it. And for array, previously we already explained, it store not just a single value, it store a number of values, a group of values, of them are the same type, okay? So it's kind of you have a group of variables instead of individual one, okay? Because in this case, if we don't have array, then you need to have 10 individual variables. Then like integer x3 equals to 13, something, okay. So then you will need to have 10 individual variables. So that's not convenient, is it? So we can group of them together. So using the array concept. So to assign new values to the array, then you can, for the first element, we assign 11. For the second, you assign 12, and so on. So after that, what we can do is you can verify if they are correct. Is it so? Over here, we just write the output statements to output all of the 10 elements values. Okay. And you can see this is quite tedious. So you need to write a 10 statement to output. Okay, so that's not convenient. And the benefits for areas, the group number of items together, is that then we can, because they have similar features, so we can take advantage of that using loop. Okay. So generally speaking, when you deal with array, that's why we have the concept of array as you can use loop to do those repetitive things. So to loop through the complete array in this case is we can use a for loop. Okay, so for this for loop, you can to access each individual array, previously we discussed, we do index. So indexing Okay, so here when we use a loop, so kind of, okay, to access the first element, use its first index, is it? So it's 0. And then to access the second element, you use its index number 1, is it? And to access third one, it's index 2, okay? So because of this, the index number, and if you recall for the loop statement, um, the loop variable also you can use integer number, a primitive integer number, is it, for the loop variable. So then over here, yeah, we can just do the loop. Basically, it's kind of using the index number to do the loop. Okay, using index number for the loop variable. So we start at 0, and we need to end at the length minus 1. Be careful, okay? It's length minus 1. Length minus, so that's why it's less than length. Okay, so it's not all the way to the length. And then increment by 1. So in this case, we use a loop. So it's just a single statement. We don't need to repeat it 10 times, okay, to output all of the elements. So here we have 10 elements of this specific array, okay. And after we understand how to create an array, how to index array, and here we have the two knowledge check in the textbook. So you can go ahead and try to do it on this example, okay? Okay, so let's stop here for the first part of the array.